now Miss Sally James in conversation with some heavy metallic persons. Take it away, Sally. Exits.
Hello. Wait, are we starting?
Yeah,
I never
we
know when you're
started.
starting properly.
Well, I'm telling you.
That's not telling me. You start with a bit more pizzazz. A bit more razzmatazz.
It's not my style, though, is it?
Try.
Hey, how you doing? We're back with Can I Pod with Madness?
That's pretty good.
Episode 22, I think.
Two.
So how have you been?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah,
How
what
have
have you been up to? You got any rock news?
Have I got any? No, I've got none.
No.
Sorry. It's only been a week, hasn't it?
It's only been a week.
No.
No.
Sorry.
It's all right.
No.
Do you have a deep cuts?
No. You know that because you asked me, so you're just trying to make me look bad now.
I thought...
What I might have thought of in the last 5 minutes.
What have you been listening to?
Well, just now, sleepy piano versions of Disney songs, which was recommended to me by the internet, and to go to sleep listening to that. Little do they know, I would rather like screaming and shouting fall asleep. So they've overestimated me there.
So by way of explanation, do you want to explain that? Because our listeners don't know you like listening to screaming.
I like to go to sleep listening to stuff. And I don't want comedy. It can't be funny. It's got to be serious, and it can be horror. Like a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a bit of listening to that.
Okay.
I always think about that bit in what's that thing called? We've watched it a few times. It's but we've not watched it fully. It's really horrible. Where a couple goes into a motel and they're making snuff films.
Oh yeah.
And when they go in, he's watching he lets them in, and he's obviously watching something around the back, and it's all like screaming, and he's obviously like, we're meant to think he's watching a horror film, but he's obviously watching something would turn out to be proper films. And he's like checking him in, but also like we're in his head back, like doesn't want to miss it, and that's pretty funny. But not that I would watch that kind of thing, but it's just that always.
That's the general vibe you're going for.
No, not like horrible, but just
bad stuff.
Like it can be loud, it can be shouty, sweary, screamy. Shining's good, although The Shining's got just a lot of I put The Shining on the other night and fell asleep, and then realised I hadn't watched enough of it before falling asleep to start it from the beginning again. And because I thought I haven't even seen the bit when he's shown around the kitchen, which is obviously one of the best bits.
Classic scene.
And then woke up and realised I've missed it again, second time round. So I watched it twice, fell asleep before that bit on both bits.
You were watching it on BBC iPlayer, weren't you?
Yeah.
So it was the UK version.
Yeah.
And I bought you the American version, didn't I?
Yeah.
And what are your feelings on the two versions?
The longer the better. The more the better.
Because we've only watched that longer version like once, haven't we?
I think so. Yeah.
Watch it again.
We should do. Got more weird bits in it, hasn't it?
I mean, I don't know that film as well as you, so I would probably be hard pressed to tell the difference. But the thing that made me, I only realised there were two different versions when we were watching that Room 237 documentary, and they showed the skeletons.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but
no,
it's in the long version, isn't it?
But if you do like The Shining and you haven't watched Doctor Sleep, watch Doctor Sleep. Because that's exciting when he goes back to the hotel. That is hella exciting.
Yeah, we should watch that again, shouldn't we?
The book's really good. Film's good. So it's good.
I
I had sort of low expectations.
spoke to a guy today at work, and he had a bookshelf behind him, and it was just full of Stephen King, just all Stephen King. And I was like, looking at, I'm like, oh, I haven't read any of those.
No. You should read Misery.
Misery.
Yeah.
It's in the film.
No, but the book's
Worse.
so much worse. The book's horrible. Yeah, but Misery's good to watch.
Okay.
Can relate hard with Annie Wilkes.
She is the internet, isn't she? She's
no,
like,
I don't think so. I just relate to her OCD and her big fandom.
But like, that's like toxic fandom that you see every day on the internet, isn't it?
I don't think I see Annie Wilkes on the internet.
But that attitude of, I'm the biggest fan of this, and now you have to write it exactly the way I want it, and if you don't, I will break your knees. That I see that all the time.
First of all, she does not break his knees. It's his ankles.
Break his ankles.
Oh my God. I don't even know why we're together.
Yeah.
God. Disappointing every Stephen King fan out there.
I like Stand By Me.
All right, good. Well done. What about Carrie?
Never seen it.
Fuck's sake. Yeah, you've seen it. We've watched
their
breasts, Mama.
I might have seen a bit of it. I think we've watched the end, haven't we? I don't think I've seen the whole thing.
Have you not?
No.
You watched Christine?
Well,
Christine made me scared to get in our car at the time because we had one of those Volvos that was really old-fashioned, had the really big front and the really big back. So it really reminded me of the Christine car.
Yeah.
And I always thought like the seatbelt was going to kill me.
And it's a sentient car that's going to kill you.
Just a car that kills.
So it's like Herbie, but bad.
Herbie goes bananas. Yeah.
All right. Have you got any more Stephen King recommendations for our listeners? Because this is sort of like a bit Halloweeny, isn't it?
It's a bit.
I mean, this is going to be coming out way after Halloween, but fuck it, it's in our hearts, isn't it?
Well, let me think.
That guy did have It on his shelf, and I was going to say, you dirty bastard.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about it. There's the good thing about the book of it is that it's got some bits in it that the film doesn't have that are really creepy, and the book's scary. The books are scary, and who'd have thought a book would be scary? But it's got some good bits that aren't in the film, but it's got some bits that you can understand why were left out of the film, and it's like, why did you put that in there?
Okay. Everyone who's listening to this who has read the book will probably know exactly what you're talking about.
I don't think we need to go into it. But the rest of it's good. And obviously the film, 2-part film with John Boy is good.
Tim Curry.
Mainly John Boy. With a rat tail.
He plays a writer who wrote a book called The Gleaming.
Yeah. What can it mean? God. Obviously Spielberg. Not Spielberg.
It's not Spielberg, is it?
Stephen King wanted a rat tail and it could never happen. Because why else would you do that? Because John Boy didn't have that. It's added on, isn't it? That's added on for character.
I bet Stephen King had a rat tail at some point. He's a successful writer. He can have his hair anyway.
He does look like the kind of guy who would have that. Yeah. Okay, well, there's your Stephen King content.
Happy Halloween if you're listening to this next year. This week.
Yeah.
On the pod.
Well, it's Metal Hammer, so it's different.
We're looking at Metal Hammer. I thought it's been a while. We haven't looked
at...
What year? 87.
Did you read the music papers from the back and to the front? Did you find out where to see your favorite band?
Okay, I mean same but different, yeah.
It's it's a good issue. I think next
it's a good issue. Oh, good. You not bought some shit.
Next week we can get into maybe some Christmas content.
That'd be nice.
Or next episode. But in the meantime, let's have a look. Metal Hammer. It's November the 26th, 1987. The International Hard Rock and Heavy Metal Magazine, Volume 2, number 14. There's a picture of Steve Harris from Iron Maiden on the cover. Exclusive Iron Maiden Wasted Years. There's 3 posters inside. Warlock, Creator. I mean, it says 3 posters, but it only tells you what 2 of them are. They are not in here. Someone's had them.
Well, that's what they're for, innit?
Yeah. Someone got pleasure out of them. So also in this issue, White Snake and MSG, Celtic Frost, Creator on the road, Phenomena, Dream Runner, Paul Di'Anno in the War Zone, Loudness, Eye of the Storm, Russia, A Look Behind the Curtain, Live, you got Marillion,
Your favourite.
Bad News, Mama's Boys, and Guitar Special, Warren D. Martini. So it's a packed issue.
Packed. It's fun packed.
Let's get into it.
Action packed.
Action packed. I haven't marked anything in the news section because
there's nothing interesting.
Well, I mean, we've covered a lot of it. You know, something about Motley Crue going on tour and then cancelling a tour. You know, which is what we talk about.
I think that's every band.
Every single issue.
Yeah.
Overkill. New York thrash merchants Overkill have problems following the release in America of their mini album titled Fuck You.
Oh, that's nice.
The reaction of the music industry has been
The
quite
album's
vehement.
called Fuck You.
It's a mini album.
Oh, it's the big album called.
Many stores have refused to stock the record in protest at the sleeve and the title. I mean, God knows what's on the sleeve. It didn't show us what's on the sleeve.
Probably Fuck You. The bit of the band.
Yeah, the classic suggestion. Okay, so what have I picked out? So yeah, big feature at Iron Maiden.
Okay.
Which I know we haven't talked about Iron Maiden in a while, have we?
That doesn't seem accurate, but okay.
Well, the last few episodes,
mean,
we've not mentioned them.
I call bullshit on that, but okay.
If you remember the last time we talked about Iron Maiden, write in, let us know.
5 minutes ago?
It's 2 days before Iron Maiden are due to leave for Germany to record the follow-up to Somewhere in Time. But in the meantime, they've released a video called 12 Wasted Years, which is like a history of the band. So, I mean, I'm going to read this question and answer, which is not the most thrilling answer to a question. So,
I can't wait. Go
Steve, you've called the video 12 Wasted Years. Does it seem like 12 years since it began? Steve, quote, "It doesn't seem like 12 wasted years, but when I think back to how it was at the start, I suppose it does seem like a long time. It doesn't feel like 12 years until you actually start thinking about it. When you see some of the old photos, you think maybe it does seem 12 years ago."
Fucking hell. I mean, I get why they asked. I don't get why they thought, stick it in.
Definitely print this.
God, this is gold. I bet they just had to fill up space. I don't know. Yeah. 12, I don't know. No, it doesn't. But then I guess it sort of does.
It does, and it
I mean,
doesn't.
like, it all literally has been 12 years. So it kind of is 12 years. I mean, it's you know, it's literally 12 years, but sort of, does it feel like 12 years? But then what does 12 years feel like? What does a year feel like? I don't know, but it has been 12 years. So see, I understand that it's been 12 years. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'd have to say it does feel like 12 years because it has been 12 years, but then what does 12, I don't know, but yeah, so I guess yes it does. It's sort of so it's 12 years, but so yeah, I guess so, maybe, I don't know, or whatever.
It does seem like that interview we saw Paul Stanley where they asked him about the past. He goes, "Well, the past is the past because it's the past."
Is that when he's on the bed with those women?
I think it might be, yeah. Around the time when you started playing the marquee, there was a furore about the band. Looking back, do you think you justified it, Steve?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. No. Yeah, maybe I did. I sort of did, but I didn't. I don't know. Yeah.
Good
sort
question.
of bit in yes, no.
I think we had a certain something. They've written something.
Right.
That's all I can really say. Even then, I think the songs were strong, and we all had a certain aggressiveness, a real want to do that came across. It was really something else.
Did he know he was getting interviewed? Did
He
they
sounds like
catch
he's
him?
just woken up.
He is like, those days when you think, I can't be fucked today. I cannot be. I can't even be bothered putting on like a show of. I can be bothered a bit. Whatever. I don't care. Yes, no. Pick the one you want. Put that in it. Fuck off, Metal Hammer.
So there's a bit. They're talking to Bruce Dickinson now. Bruce, talking about the video. There's an interview with you where you're talking about not having to wear the black leather like Paul, and yet the video cuts to Hammersmith, and you're wearing a red shirt and a black leather waistcoat.
Oh,
so
done him there.
Bruce,
Done him up like a kipper there.
Quote, am I? What I actually meant was that you shouldn't expect me to wear exactly the same gear as Paul and all that stuff I got from a shop in Kings Road. That jacket I wear in Run to the Hills I bought because it reminded me of Robin Hood, the jacket that the Sheriff of Nottingham used to wear.
That is the sort of shit you'd say. That's the sort of thing you'd say and you'd do. And I don't mean it as a compliment.
At the time, Rod Smallwood, the manager, made us all wear white boots, blue jeans, white t-shirt and leather jackets. This was because one day I walked into the office and he told me, you look like a bloody roadie. After Number the Beast, we told him to go and stuff it.
Stuff it. No one's ever told me in my history to stuff it. Have they? Ever said to you, stuff it?
I don't think recently I've heard the word stuff it. No.
No.
He's reminiscing about being on Tiswas in 1982. Steve, yeah, good fun. It's a program that's very much missed these days. They tried doing things like Swap Shop, but there's been nothing that's as good. And then the guy interviewing them tries to ask if he lusted after Sally James, but he says no.
Now, sitting behind you is a person called Eddie. Now, Iron Maiden fans will probably recognise him instantly. Tell me very briefly, Steve, because I'm going to go a frantic wind-up, the history of Eddie.
Well, we used to have this backdrop when we was playing the pubs with this little egg we built.
Yeah.
Had blood come out the mouth and all this sort of thing. Then we built another one. It was a bit bigger, lights come out the eyes and smoke. We used to call it Eddie the Ed. And it just kind of expanded into this,
So his life...
this thing here, It keeps following us around, actually.
Well, I never watched that. You did, though.
You never watched Tiswas?
Bit slightly too ahead of my
I think it was probably
birth.
finishing by the time you were watching. So did you watch Saturday Superstore?
No.
Did you watch Going Live?
Yes.
Right.
I think probably Going Live was one of the first things I can remember watching on Saturday that wasn't cartoons.
Yeah. Was that Schofield?
Yeah, and
Sarah
Green.
Mm.
And then Emma, I want to say Emma Thompson, but I think that's wrong. I know it's not Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson, but what's she called? That
Emma.
She had short hair.
Yeah.
So hot, right? Like then, like she was like, yeah, shit, wasn't she?
She was, just call her Emma.
Yeah,
we know
you
who
know,
you're talking about.
yeah. So I think it changed to her, and I don't know whether that because it turned to Live and Kicking, didn't it? I don't know whether it turned to Live and Kicking or it was totally replaced with Live and Kicking, but from a youngster's point of view, it just turned into.
It was essentially the same, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's she called?
Should we look it up?
Emma Willis or Emma Thompson? I feel like this might be Emma Thompson. I know it's not.
Emma Willis is that woman that was married to him out of Busted, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So what are you talking about? Going Live?
Going Live, Emma, and if you put Emma and Philip.
Emma Forbes.
Emma Forbes. I would literally never have got that. We could have been here 20
Oh,
years and I wouldn't have got that.
is she still alive?
Oh God, is she not?
Yeah, she's 58 years old.
Say. Yeah, she was. So she was.
Oh, she was with Andy Peters.
So was she Live and Kicking? Yeah. Oh no, she don't go live.
Well, Going Live, Live and Kicking.
So her and Andy Peters took over Going Live, and then it turned into Live and Kicking.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, exciting stuff.
It is. What do you watch on? What does anyone watch on a Saturday morning now? No, nothing. No one gives a shit.
I couldn't tell you what is on Saturday morning.
No, you
Not
couldn't. No, because there's nothing interesting.
Nothing for kids.
Oh my God! Imagine waking up and
They just put YouTube on.
CD UK we used to watch. That was good.
That was
I used to love that.
late 90s,
Yeah.
was it? Or mid 90s? Ant and Dec.
Mid to late 90s. And Dec and Cat Dealing.
Cat Dealing, yeah.
That was really good.
So out of all of them, you'd say?
Well, I got the most enjoyment out of CD UK because it's funny.
Yeah.
But
Because it was Ant and Dec.
I always remember finding out about the Lieutenant Key journey from Going Live. Because they had a Christmas card thing where they show people's shitty Christmas cards that they're sending, you know, that kind of crap that no one cares about. But they used to play that on the top, and I used to really like that. And I remember asking Dad what it was.
Right. I bet your dad used the proper Russian pronunciation.
Oh, probably.
Kijay.
Oh, probably.
He would have done a voice. He would have.
Like when he says futon.
Oh, pangu.
Pangu. Yeah. Dad's, eh? So yeah, Going Live and Kicking, CD UK. There you go. There's your 1987 content.
Yeah, that's your nostalgic, you know, shenanigans.
Yeah. Hey, you watched an old house party. I mean, I did, but that's because there's nothing else on.
That's the one with Mr. Blobby.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever used to watch it. It had
was alright.
NTV.
It was alright. He had a fake house. It was a bit Partridge. You know, a bit Partridge Christmas specials where he's got a fake house. And then, obviously, Blobby would show up and fuck shit up. And then he'd have guests on. And, you know, I'm not going to lie, it was enjoyable for I mean, what else was there to do then? But it was fine. I didn't love it. It was fine.
Just,
I kind of like Blobby's energy of just, I don't care. I don't care and I'm going to fuck this up.
He's like a sort of modern day emu. Well, not modern day, but modern day at the time.
It's
like,
so modern. Yeah, that is like so hot right now.
Because in the 70s, emu would fuck shit up.
Yeah.
But
wouldn't he just attack people?
Yeah.
Didn't he just go for the throat and stuff?
He'd fuck shit up.
Yeah, but Blobby literally throws himself into shit.
I mean, I guess he's got more weight behind him, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Blobby?
lots of weight.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's quite funny, really.
I don't like his voice. He's got that sort of
what voice do you want? What voice do you want from that? That you think would work? If it was like a normal human voice, that would be creepy. And if it was really low, it'd be creepy. And if it was any higher, it'd be creepy. But like, how could it get any higher?
I sometimes watch videos by this guy called Stuart Millard, and he like finds old telly and talks about it.
Right.
And Blobby is something that he's very fascinated. I think he's done several videos about Blobby, and he does the natural history of Blobby.
Right.
And there is indeed like the first couple of appearances, it's Blobby, but he's not quite right. He's not how you remember him. He's got a normal voice, I'm sure, and like their eyes are slightly different, and it's got like human hands or something.
Oh no!
So it's you should watch Stuart Millard's videos, particularly the ones about Blobby.
That would be on my list. People dress up as stuff with human hands.
It's like, you know, when you see the first Rainbow and like Bungle is like a sort of horror character rather than, you know, the avuncular bear we all know.
And Love.
Yeah, no, he's all right, isn't he, Bungle?
Yeah, I don't know who I like the most.
Zippy.
I don't think I liked what's it called? You Me, or was it You Me?
Well, there was a thing
Cosmo and Dibs.
You and me and you, lots a lot for you to do, lots a lot for you to see. Me and you and me, do 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 do.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
gonna
I
have
think
to look this up.
was it You and Me that Cosmo and Dibs were on?
Well, You and Me had a lot of different characters. It had Duncan the Dragon. It had Alice and Crow, and Alice was a little bear and Crow was a crow. I mean, Cosmo and Dibs
Spoiler.
is coming up. Oh, these two, these sort of
Yeah.
bear.
Yeah, I like them too.
Yeah, and that was You and Me.
Well, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, because it's come up.
Right, okay.
You and Me, 1983. That is the
There you
Cosmo
go.
and Dibs era.
Yeah.
Are they bears?
Unclear.
They've got sort of bear-like. Oh, look at the quality of that video.
That was good. Didn't they work on like a market stall in London?
I mean, that's what that looks like. Yeah.
I picture them at a market stall.
You and Me, British
Relatable
TV
for
series.
a northerner.
It ran from 1974 to 1992.
Wow.
The Cosmo and Dibs era has got its own section.
Was Florella Benjamin on that?
I hope so. I'm not seeing her name here. Presenters. Come on, Benjamin has got to have been.
What was she on then that I would have watched?
Play School?
Oh, was it Play School? Was I not a bit too young for Play School?
I think you might have been. Wendy Padbury was on You and Me. Gary Wilmot.
Gary Wilmot, I remember him.
Vicky Ireland. She hasn't got a link. Bill Owen.
Imagine not having a link.
Annette Badland. You recognise her?
She's off EastEnders, isn't she?
Yeah. She was in lots of things.
I didn't realise she was in You and Me.
This is great listening for a Metal Hammer podcast. So the puppet characters were Crow and Alice,
Right.
Duncan the Dragon, Mr. Bits and Pieces, Perfecto the Cat, and Cosmo and Dibs.
Why don't I remember Perfecto the Cat? But I remember Cosmo and Dibs. I mean, they were good. They had really funny voices, didn't they? Like just dead, normal voices.
Perfecto the Pussycat only featured until May 1980.
Oh,
So there's your
there
answer.
you go.
I remember Duncan the Dragon because, it's like dragons. And he had like a sort of snapping mouth that kind of clacked together.
Almost like a normal dragon, I guess.
Well, I mean, what is normal when it comes to dragons?
Right.
Should we have a bit of Duncan the Dragon?
No, why can't we have Cosmo and Dibs?
Well,
Oh, right, yeah, because it has to be something you're interested in.
we'll get to Cosmo and Dibs.
I don't like that. No. Why's he got a gap in his teeth?
Don't remember his
Why?
voice being like that.
Throwing shade. Because it rhymes.
Got a nice tie on.
Most of the weekend, wasn't it? Scouser. Cheryl Cole. Okay, this obviously had more of an appeal a million years ago when there was.
I mean, we
I
were sat
remember-
here slack-jawed watching it.
I remember it being more engaging, perhaps. Maybe you picked a bad episode.
Legendary puppets, Cosmo and Dibs.
Well, they are legendary.
Wonder
Wonder where they are now.
I mean, regional accents. I don't think you really got that when I was growing up.
No. So good times.
Yeah. So are they bears? No, I mean, lions maybe.
Their face looks like lions,
Yeah.
and they've just got a fancy haircut.
It's very 80s, isn't it?
It is. It's a good crop.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No whiskers though.
I mean, that'd just get in the way.
Of what? Their market stall.
maybe
what is it going to get in the way
the
of?
faces wouldn't read quite as well with
Yeah,
you know
then maybe.
whiskers
Yeah.
flying about.
Anyway, back to Metal Hammer.
Right, back to Metal Hammer. Okay, what have
How
I got?
did we get onto that?
I don't know. Live and Kicking.
How did we get onto Live and Kicking?
We talked about Tiswas.
Right.
Iron
got
Maiden
it, got
one
it, got it,
Tiswas.
got it, got it, got it, got it.
We talked about Swap Shop. We got mixed up.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So you can draw
Phew.
a line from.
As long as there was a reason.
There's an interview with the Japanese band Loudness.
Okay.
And this is like quite an interesting introduction to the article. A confrontation with the Japanese band is never the most enticing prospect for any journalist. When this interview is taking place over the phone, then we have real problems, unless, of course, the Oriental. I mean, I don't think it's great to refer to a person.
Yeah, pause for side eye and.
He's an expert in the Queen's English, but so they
put that. You just read. Right, lovely.
So they've sent
it's the 80s, everyone.
But they've sent a German journalist called Oliver Clem
to have a telephone conversation.
Yeah, with a Japanese band. So neither of them are speaking in their first language.
Oh my goodness.
But they seem to, you know, I mean, everyone's English is way better than my any other language.
Yeah.
And this just puts us to shame. I mean, it's, you know, they seem to be communicating quite well, which is unlike most articles in Metal Hammer, because usually it's all over the place. There's a feature about Steel. Do you remember Steeler? You said their album cover looked like Avatar.
I think I remember saying that. I don't remember anything about them. Shocker.
Well, I mean, I think we might have listened to one of the tracks. We didn't really get too far into it. Undercover Animal will be in the shops by the 4th of February. This is also Alice Cooper's birthday. A trivial fact that Alex reminded us of. It's quite nice.
Not that trivial.
Well, you know, it's just nice that he's got the respect of his peers.
Oh.
Okay, there's some.
I think Alice Cooper's got a new album out.
Yeah, and it's called like The Road.
Yeah.
It's like sort of quite
the road
in the
is
style
fucking
of.
hard. The road is fucking tough. It's fucking man. You fucking road I know. And it's like an tasty push. Don't sue me.
Do you remember
And go
when we were waiting to go on the Pinocchio ride in Disneyland? It was taking so long. I managed to get tickets to Tenacious D.
I forgot about that.
That made the time go a bit quicker, like trying to deal with Ticketmaster's website.
Yeah, that queue was serious. It was serious. It was a serious queue.
It was a serious queue.
I think the awkward thing about queues like that when they snake is that you've got to try and like you see the same people to your left and your right constantly and you want to kind of stare at them just because they're living their life and there's nothing else to look at and it's interesting to people watch. But you don't want to stare at them because you're about 3 foot away from them and they're not a telly. But you kind of do want to stare at them, but also you kind of want to look at them like, huh, but you can't do that every 5 minutes. It's really awkward. So you just end up kind of staring into the nothing. And then you can't really have like conversations much because you're bumper to bumper with people.
I like the fact that on the older rides, they've got a really sort of old fashioned queuing system where you're literally like shuffling like a little maze, whereas the newer rides you've got like nice open spaces to kind of hang
although
out in.
Pirates is a big queue. I saw in that queue a little girl just full finger up her nose and then like just doing it like whatever, and I made eye contact with her and she was like whatever, like it wasn't even like she was like whatever, I'm picking my nose, grandma. And she was just like it was like it wasn't even like an issue. Like it didn't cross her mind. And then she just put her hands on the rail, and I thought, this is why we're sanitizing so much. Oh my God. How many rails have I touched where you've done this before? Because you're ahead of me. So I've got all the snot before. Because you're ahead of me like a bit. So it's like a good 12-foot of snot that she could have left a snail trail of.
You only realised like halfway through, and you could have been putting your
Oh
hand in
yeah.
it.
I mean, I don't think I touched anything. Although I do like the rails in Pinocchio because they're really sort of soft wood. They're really like polished wood. So they, I don't know whether it's because they've polished them or whether it's just 30 years of people's hands rubbing up and down on. But it's like it's sort of varnished, but it's not varnished. But maybe it's just snot.
Gives it that nice soft,
I mean,
soft finish.
Here's me going, oh, this is nice soft wood. Oh, I feel this is nice soft wood, isn't it? What? I don't know why it's coming off my hands though.
It's just the wax.
Like it feels all like it's all got snotty text. I don't know. It's weird, that, isn't it? God, I'm so naive, aren't I? This is nice. Covered in snot. Shit.
If you didn't enjoy last episode where we talked about Disney for half of it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, we're not doing that again. We've got a problem. We've got a Disney problem.
Do you want to hear some reviews?
Yeah.
Meatloaf's got an album out.
Okay.
It's called Masculine.
He is masculine.
And it's a live
Whatever
album.
that means. Am I right? No, nobody.
It's a weird name.
I don't know an album called Masculine.
No, it's a live album. But I mean, we know he's masculine. He's like
I
Meatloaf.
hated going to HMV and Virgin Megasource. And like you want to buy an album, but they'd have it like a live album, and you think, oh, that's gonna be shit, isn't it? Especially like now it might be better because the recording's better, but you don't want a live album, do you?
Well,
I think I reluctantly bought an Aerosmith one once. I think just because it's always shit. It's only good if you've been to that concert. Like when we went to Kiss and we could download that concert that night. That was amazing because that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because you know all the little bits you hear them say, you can hear them say. That's great English. And but if it's just some concert that you weren't at, why we don't listen to that?
Well, when I first started buying records, I bought a lot of live albums because it was like getting the greatest hits. Like, most bands didn't have a greatest hits out then, and like you know, I told you about getting that Iron Maiden Live After Death. It's like all the best songs on one.
Yeah, okay.
Record.
For that reason, then that's a good reason.
And you know, they might play the songs differently live. You know,
but I don't like that. It annoys me when I go to see someone and they. I just thought of a really shit example, and I'm not sure I can admit that. But when they sing a song and they use a slightly different tone or just way of singing, you think, bitch, I've been learning this. I know this off by heart. Why are you doing it wrong? Why are you doing it wrong? And do you know the example I thought of straight away? I'm so sorry.
Tell me.
Chris De Burgh, I'm so sorry. We went to see, not you didn't.
Thank you.
And he sang Spanish Train, obviously, because it's a hit.
You love that song.
Yeah. And when there's like a bit in it that goes, you'll know, you're all big Chris De Burgh fans. He goes, my hand wins, but he's like, because it's the God and the devil playing chess, so it's like it's really like it's a, you know, it's an exciting song. There's lots going on, and when he sings "My Hand Wins" in the recording, it's like it's a powerful thing, you know, because he's like that. That's a crescendo of the song, like it means something because the devil's cheated, obviously, because it's the fucking devil, and I don't know why God trusted him in the first place, and of course he's like, I win, and like that's bad news for God, right?
Yeah.
But in the concert, sniffed and you would have missed him say that song, that line.
Really?
It was My Hand Wins. What? So, and he was at shirt on. It's like, so what? What did you just say, Chris?
He was like,
Sorry?
come on, get through this. Everyone wants to see a lady in red. Come on.
Come on, like, but it was the biggest letdown.
Well, maybe he thought he wanted to give it something different.
It was shit. No, I love Chris De Burgh with a passion. Come on, but it was shit.
Well, like the thing people say about Rush
Don't pay the ferryman.
is that Rush, who you'll remember, one of their album covers looked a little bit like a Chris De Burgh record. People used to say their live shows, they're too close to the record. They'd like really sort of perfect it and get it bang on. So when they released the third live album, it's really just like listening to the record, but with a little bit of crowd noise in between. And you want them to change it up. You want maybe a longer guitar solo, or different. You just want a bit of difference.
Maybe I see what you mean, but also you've gone because you like that song.
Yeah.
It's not an art show. We're not here to,
I think if you've got a moment of high drama, you want to recreate the moment of high drama. You don't want to make it into a little, my hand wins.
Yeah.
Or did he whisper it all?
No, it's just like if you were sort of in a shop and you were with someone, you were like, do we need tea bags? No, it doesn't matter. It was like with the same energy of that.
Right.
Of do you say we need tea bag? No, gone. Okay, no, it's fine. It was that energy. And we're talking about the devil and God playing chess.
Do you think we can find a live version of My Hand Wins?
Maybe he's lackluster in every live performance, hasn't it? I don't know.
What's it called?
Spanish Train.
Spanish Train. Live.
Oh, look at him.
No, he's not half-arsed in that. Look at him.
I do remember there was a lot of ladies who got up from their seats and went to the front. He was...
Wasn't a king and a lord, he was running for his street. And I said, Lord,
Lord, you let him win. No, you. No, it's more in the middle.
Is it?
I tell you what, you can edit this, can't you? So we're not just listening to Chris De Burgh, but
I mean, Chris will sue us.
I'm a big fan. He's gonna win. Yes, he hasn't won yet.
That guy's into it.
He's fucking loving it. All he needed was the 8. So cute. That
So he
thing.
does the whole thing acoustic. You haven't got a band here.
Okay, we're coming up to it. Let's see. He slipped another race. Oh, look at them.
She's orgasming.
Why is the God entering into this nonsense?
Does he do a lot of songs like...
That fucking dickhead. Absolute dickhead. That was not... I mean, that would have been spot on if he'd have done that when we went there. That would have been fucking amazing. That was what I wanted. That energy. I didn't get it.
Oh, Chris, if you're listening.
Oh, no. No, if you're listening, send me a signed photograph.
You lost a fan.
Signed photograph, please. I'll send you a stamped address envelope and everything.
So does he do a lot of songs about,
Him upstairs.
him upstairs?
And him downstairs. I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe.
It's a sort of...
Pay the ferryman.
It's like a Anglo version of Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, he's...
Yeah, he's a storyteller, he's a songwriter, he's a performer.
Heartthrob. Man of the people.
Lover of women in red garments.
every housewoman's favourite. Tender Hands. In case you don't know.
He wants some tender hands, or he's got some tender hands.
No, he wants tender hands to hold him
I bet he
all
does.
the way to paradise.
Aye, aye.
And then to hold him through the night, yeah. What do you think of that, Chris? Chris, Okay, if you don't know, he's got a song called Tender Hands. Honestly, listen to Spark to a Flame, the album, not the song. The song, there's a song, but also the album. Bangers. I mean, if you grew up like in the 90s and you listen to it in your mum's car a lot, it'd be bangers. If not, it might just seem really weird. Or it might be not. I don't know. Kids like new stuff.
You think the kids are going to adopt Chris De Burgh in a sort of Kate Bush way?
Maybe.
I've heard this amazing thing on TikTok.
I've seen the TikToks to Dion and all sorts. So, you know, kids like stuff now that I liked back in the day that I couldn't admit to liking because it'd be like, well, that's not bros or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but so Chris De Burgh, yay. Sorry, I'm Metal Hammer, yay.
We'll see if we got any mention of Chris in this issue.
We'll keep everything crossed.
There's an album out by the Jesters of Destiny called In a Nostalgic Mood. It's a 5-track EP of covers. There's a deformed version of Black Sabbath's classic Electric Funeral that slows down, speeds up and sways from side to side like Vince Neil behind the steering wheel. I mean, that's a bad
not
taste
funny.
joke. Come on.
I don't know where you're going with that. That's naughty.
A strangulated run through of Jimi Hendrix's Foxy Lady. Also on display are covers of Spaz by the Electric Band. Have you ever heard that song?
No.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Oh.
And Creedence Clearwater Revival's Fortunate Son, and Little Richard's The Girl Can't Help It. So yeah, I mean,
Little Richard was releasing songs in the 80s.
Yeah, I think he was a preacher by that point, wasn't he? Did he become a preacher? I've not made that up. I know Al Green did.
Al Green was. I don't know.
Have you ever seen Down and Out in Beverly Hills? Because Little Richard's in that. Acting.
No. A pastor. He abandoned the music business, enrolled in Bible college, and became a travelling evangelical preacher. When the Beatles skyrocketed into the music scene in '64, they sang several of his classics and openly acknowledged their debt to their greater forebearer. There you go.
So when did he become?
He was regularly preaching in '84, claiming that his days should have been spent now, at the age of 52, spreading the gospel. He looks so much like Prince, doesn't he? In some of these photos.
I mean, I can imagine him as a preacher. He's got that energy, hasn't he?
I'd listen to him. Throughout his life, Little Richard veered from being proudly gay in an era where homosexuality was acutely taboo.
Well, you know the original words Tutti Frutti?
Yeah.
It was some like tight booty, and it was about, and there was like lyrics in it about using butter as some kind of lubricant.
Oh. He said, if God gave it to you, show it to the world. His time at Oakwood College in Huntsville, Alabama in '57 found him buying back copies of his records, which he called Devil's Music, from fellow students and burning them in a bonfire. By '66, he was back to pounding piano, sweeping his hair into inky pomodoro and drowning in drugs. His rehabilitation turned him into a preacher, Bible salesman, and performer at church events. He died of bone cancer in May 2020. Wow.
Didn't you send me a reel recently of him on stage at some awards, and he said the award should go to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And the best
best new artist is me. I have never received nothing. You all ain't never gave me no Grammy. And I've been singing for years. I am the architect of rock and roll. They never gave me nothing.
He's in Casper, isn't he?
Is he?
Yeah. He sings Casper the Friendliest Ghost, and he's in it.
Oh, he does the song at the end.
As a. And why are you showing me pictures of Dumbo? Try to make me cry. Why are you not showing me pictures of him as a ghost? But yeah, he's at the end, isn't he?
Yeah.
As a ghost.
And singing the song Casper the Friendly Ghost.
That's an absolute banger. It's a good film. I want to watch that.
That's another of your Halloween recommendations.
Yeah. Well, it's an everyday recommendation. Can't take it moving. Hate it moving.
Okay, so.
Can't take it moving. Well, if you were around in the 2000s, when would it have been actually? That would have been 96, 97.
Mid-90s?
Casper's Brainy book. 96, 97. And if you know how computers came with CD-ROMs, kids?
1995.
Okay, well, we had it in 96, 97. And Casper's Brainy book was like a CD you could get, and it was obviously based on the film, but it had little games you could play. But there was sort of songs in it that I've never forgotten, which is one of them, which is "Can't take it moving, hate it moving, can't take it moving from place to place," which I've sung to you on many an occasion.
I mean, I've typed it into YouTube, and the thumbnail has got that on it.
Well, it'll be accurate as well if you play it. It'll be exactly what I've just done. Yeah, YouTube it. Actually, you could sit this on.
Your father's job is to hunt for
And ghosts were hard. It's fine. It does sing at some point, because obviously I'm not going mental. There you go. There you go.
Here we go. Here we go.
I mean, it was back in the day where there was little entertainment, and you would have had to play this every day and all the way through.
Is that one of those games where you just clicked every single pixel on the screen to try and find the interactive bit?
Yeah.
Them were days.
It wasn't really a game. It was just like a Brainy book, wasn't it? So you go in,
knowledge adventure.
Yeah. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? But I mean, that banger's been with me for what, 30 odd years. So
yeah, and you sang that all the time at me.
Yeah.
As if it was a well-known song, and then when I watched Casper with you, it wasn't in there.
No.
So,
well, it's not the film.
I was
no.
very confused.
But then we found this, and you were less confused.
I was less confused, yeah. But only recently, I've been looking for that on YouTube for a long time, and it was just never there. And it's only in recent years that this has popped up.
Thank goodness for the internet. And,
I mean, this is 6 years ago.
Mainly people who upload stuff onto the internet, because I don't upload stuff onto the internet.
No.
I'll happily remember these things, and I just sit back and wait for the people who are going to bother to do it for me. I don't like, thank God there are people who bother to get stuff like this onto the internet for other people to enjoy. They're the true heroes.
They're the real heroes.
Look, yeah.
Because you could find a copy of that game, you wouldn't be able to run it, would you?
No, but so the effort, I appreciate it.
Yeah. Although they've marked it as for kids, so I can't add it to the playlist. There'll be another version.
I mean,
there's got to be.
You've heard the rest of it.
Yeah, you've heard it now. You don't need to watch it.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear some live reviews?
Yeah.
Do you want to hear a live review of Marillion at Wembley Arena in London?
Is that where you were at?
I did see them at Wembley Arena, but not in 1987. I saw them in like 92 or something.
Rubbish. Go on.
So this is written by Dave Ling. Since their early days in Aylesbury, Marillion have gone on to become one of the biggest bands in the world. Personally, I've always eyed them with a degree of suspicion, having been going to see them on a regular basis. In that time, I've seen the Mushroom and have never quite understood their success. An interview with their Scottish vocalist, Fish, is always worth a read, but the records are generally so dull.
Oh.
So he is not a fan.
So wait, not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. Go and see him.
Well, he's getting paid to write a review and Metal Hammer. But this gig, I was very familiar with because this got broadcast on Radio 1, so I had a tape with this gig on.
Right.
So it's sort of getting to the end of their tour for Clutching at Straws. They do a lot of Misplaced Childhood, Kaylee, all that
Kaylee!
stuff. The best was yet to come, so this is at the end. We were treated to some guest appearances. Spandau Ballet's John Keeble and Nico McBrain from Iron Maiden came on to play the drums. Jimmy Bain from Dio and ex-Gillan guitarist Yannick Gers was brought in for The Boys Are Back in Town.
It's not bad.
As if that wasn't enough, for the next number, Bruce Dickinson took over from Fish. He said, I didn't know we were going to do this one before they kicked into All the Young Dudes. So that's interesting because Bruce Dickinson, a couple of years after this, he recorded a solo album and it had All the Young Dudes on it, and it was one of the singles.
Right.
They also
So
did...
they were all just there at a live gig?
I think it
was because it was London? Because
it was a special gig. Like they were playing in front of Prince Edward, right? Who's one of the less problematic royals.
When you said that, I thought, do I need to be worried about what you just said?
I mean, I really don't know anything about Prince Edward, but I don't think he's done anything as bad as some of the others. But yeah, no. So I vividly remember having the tape, and it had Boys Are Back in Town, and with a little help from my friends with Fish and Bruce Dickinson sort of duetting. All in all, it was an evening to remember, the finale especially, but I'm still none the wiser as to why Marillion continued to enjoy this excess of success. So yeah, Dave Ling doesn't like them very much, but that was like I think that was one of the biggest gigs they'd done at the time, you know, and obviously it was I think it was for charity or something, and they'd had all these kind of special guests. But that would have been one of the last gigs they did as that band, because Fish, as we know, Fish left like a few months after that.
Right.
But there you go. So a little trip back in time, and that'll be out there because people used to record stuff off the radio. That's probably on YouTube.
Yeah.
So have you ever heard of The Great Cat?
No.
Right. So this is The Great Cat. She's a guitarist from New York, and I've heard of her. I've never heard her stuff, but this is a good interview. I'm read most of it out to you because I think it's worth hearing.
Right.
So this is Gotts Kuhnemund, one of Metal Hammer's writers. Picture this: I'm sitting in a New York hotel, preparing for interviews the next day. Phone rings, and on the other end of the line is a promotion manager of American Roadrunner branch, Road Racer. Since you're in New York, why don't you go and do an interview with the Incredible Cat? And he says, I tried to get out of it because he says he's heard of records, he's not impressed. 5 minutes later, the telephone rings again, this time a different female. Move your ass over here and do an interview with me. So that's Cat. She wouldn't be told. A few minutes later, another call. Quote, either you come to my place or I come to yours. I live around the corner. You can use my recorder to do the interview. So he goes to her apartment. A small blonde girl opens the door. I was given a typical New York welcome. About time, motherfucker. Come on in and ask me your stupid questions. So I'm just going to read her answers. Okay. I'm not going to read anything what he's saying.
Okay.
I'm 24 now and I'm the best thrash guitarist there is. I started playing the piano and violin when I was 7. And I studied classical violin for some years and won countless awards. Then I discovered classical music is dead. Fucking dead, man. I heard Ozzy and Priest for the first time. I knew that was it. So I started to play death metal. At the moment, I'm working on our first album. When you listen to that album, you know that Cat rules. That she talks about herself in the third person.
Yeah, fair enough.
You want to know more about me? I'm completely crazy. I know that better than anyone else. Don't make me laugh. Metallica, the great Cat rules. Everyone knows I'm the greatest guitarist in the world. I mean, it's hard to read because,
In
typical
fashion, yeah.
graphic design. Everyone knows I'm the greatest guitarist in the world, but I'm much more than that. I'm the greatest person in the universe. No, Beethoven and the great Cat. Cat rules, Cat rules. I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't take drugs. I'm a genius. My fans like my feet like a slave and adore me. Can you dig that? Tell that to your readers. Don't forget, worship me or die. And that was the name of her album, Worship Me or Die.
I didn't know that, so I'm concerned because I haven't been worshipping her. So I need to die. Is she still going?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
With that much energy, and you, I'm not surprised.
So we got an interview with Paul Di'Anno, who you'll remember is the original vocalist in Iron Maiden, or the original recorded vocalist. He left. Bruce Dickinson joined. Blah de blah de blah. So he gets into that a little bit. You play a few old Iron Maiden tracks. Why? Quote, because they're my tracks, and to be honest, I sing them better than Bruce. They were written for my voice. That doesn't mean I'm a better vocalist than Bruce, because I ain't. Bruce is a very good singer. Those tracks were written for me to be sung by me in my sort of voice. Did you hear that live version of Remember Tomorrow on the B-side of Number of the Beast? They used recordings that I was singing on, and Bruce put his vocals on top of that. It sounds like Frank Sinatra singing it. It sounds like shit. I think I have heard that, and it sounds like way better. Yeah. But he's saying, I can never do something like Somewhere in Time. They're completely different styles. On top of that, we changed our tracks a bit. I don't like to write love songs unless I can give it a weird turn. I like to tell small weird stories. Like in Metal Tears, for example, is about a guy who can't get a steady relationship with a woman. He goes out and builds a female robot and falls in love with it. But the first album is more about atomic war and the result of that. I try to make my lyrics as interesting as possible. No baby, I love you shit. My lyrics always have a story. Yeah, basically, he's a funny lad. So yeah, there's a big article about rock bands in Russia, which I won't get into the entirety of it, but it's quite interesting. Metal musicians call themselves the Metalisti.
Okay.
Which I like the sound of that. But they're saying that if you become a professional, you sort of become sponsored by the state and you become like a civil servant and you get a good salary and privileges. But then you have to sort of sing songs that the state tells you to. So there's a sort of underground of metal bands, and then there's the sort of state sponsored ones that basically tell them what to do. But I think that requires further investigation because it sounds very different from what we've got over here.
Well, yeah.
Especially back then. But yeah, so that's most of there's a little bit in Hammer and Tongue, which is the gossip column.
Okay.
As you'll be no doubt aware, in last issue's Trick or Treat feature, Joe Perry and Steve Tyler made a brief promotional visit to our shores recently. Naturally, Metal Hammer spent some time in their godlike presence. After the interview had come to a conclusion, who should walk into the WEA office but the new Bad Company singer, Brian Howe? In a polite gesture, he was introduced to the dynamic duo, and they all got on like a house on fire, pretending they'd all known each other for all their born days. This was brought to a halt by Tyler's passing shot of, "Hey man, tell Paul Rodgers that I said hi." So this is the guy who replaced Paul Rodgers in Bad Company, and Paul Rodgers is not in Bad Company anymore, and he's obviously never met him.
Right, okay.
There's also Kirk Blows was in Detroit recently. He happened to cross paths with Fatter Pussycat. Now, they might be making a joke on the name of Faster Pussycat, but there's so many spelling mistakes in every single issue.
Really?
That they shouldn't really be doing that, because you don't know whether it's just a spelling mistake.
Right.
Being a true poser, he had a copy of the new Metal Hammer under his arm. And the Pussies were somewhat taken aback by comments made about them in said organ by Guns N' Roses singer W. Axl Rose. They're just a bunch of wankers, they said, massaging some bruised egos but trying not to show it. So I'm not sure whether it's Axl Rose who called Faster Pussycat a bunch of wankers, or Faster Pussycat are calling Guns N' Roses a bunch of wankers, but like, Americans don't say that. So that I found that whole thing confusing. Again, it might be the translation. And last month they reported that the Poison album that was coming up would be called Swallow This, and now they've said it won't be called that. They haven't even started recording it there. So that's why we never got Swallow This from those lads. So that's the end of our issue.
Well, thank you very much for that deep dive through November 87.
87. I mean, what a year to be alive that was.
What time?
So I was thinking for our next episode, we might get into a Christmas issue and we can talk about Christmas stuff. And that might be like a double, because I think we're going to have a lot to say about Christmas, aren't we?
Feels like we might do.
We might do, yeah. So I want a deep cuts from you.
Yeah.
Give me a Christmas
well,
deep
you have
cuts.
to remind me.
I did today.
No, you literally said it half an hour before we started.
Yeah, I gave you half an hour.
That's rubbish.
All right. Did you have any thoughts about singers who are actors, or actors who are singers? Because you said you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Do you know what I thought of?
What?
Are you aware of the actor Robert Downey Jr.?
Yes.
Iron Man.
Yes.
As you know. Did you know he released an album called The Futurist?
Yes.
And there is a cover version of Your Move by Yes on it. And John Anderson from Yes is doing backing vocals on it.
Really?
And so if you ever wanted to hear Iron Man singing Yes songs,
yeah,
I mean, we'll stick it on the playlist.
I mean, I think people would watch Iron Man do anything.
I mean, he's got a decent enough voice, you know. He's gravelly, and I bet women of a certain age, he's for some generation of women, he's their Chris De Burgh, I think.
Oh, I think for a lot of women, he will be.
So, is there anything else you want to say to our listeners?
No.
Okay. Well, okay. So
always good to end on a low, depressing,
low energy.
Low energy. Thank. Cheers.
We hope you had a lovely Halloween.
Yeah.
We hope you are having a wonderful November, and hope you started doing your Christmas shopping.
People should have fucking started that by now.
So follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
Follow us on Blue Sky. Follow us on Threads.
I don't even know what Blue Sky is.
It's like Twitter. If you don't want to use Twitter, there's Blue Sky. It's the same thing.
But why don't you use Threads then? It's for people who don't have Instagram.
I'm sort of hedging my bets about, because you can be on Threads without Instagram, but you need the thing about Blue Sky is you need an invite code from someone who's already on it.
Oh, that's lame.
So, well, it means like all the bots that are on Twitter, there aren't any of those on Blue Sky.
Who cares about? Do people actually care about bots?
Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Do you care? Do you care about bots on Twitter?
No, because you just ignore them.
Right.
I mean, this has turned unnecessarily aggressive. If you want an invite code to Blue Sky, hit us up, because we've got 2.
I don't know what it is.
It's just the same as Twitter, but it's less shit.
I mean, I sound like a boomer. This is my job. I know what Blue Sky is. Yeah, of course.
If you've seen Twitter or Threads,
I wrote something the other day. I meant to tell you, and I wrote. I was typing something up and I wrote tick tick by mistake instead of TikTok, and I thought, oh no, what if people think that I just think that it's called tick tick?
Your mother would legit say tick
Yeah,
tick.
yeah. Because I saw it and thought, oh no, like I was really embarrassed, thinking they're gonna think I think it's tick tick, and like I don't know that it's TikTok. So I felt really embarrassed when I saw I'd done that, and I obviously know that it's called TikTok.
Right, you can follow us on Tick Tick.
Follow us on Tick Tick.
That's
Tick Tick and Blue Sky.
that's our new social media platform.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube, and yeah, just
I think it's subscribe on YouTube
and
hit the notification button so you don't miss out on any future videos.
Button.
Well, if you subscribe and hit the notification, it really helps with our reach. So we'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's the sort of thing I should be saying.
Yeah.
All right, stay metal.
Stay metal.
Stay Chris De Burgh.
Shut up.
My hand wins.
That's Partridge.
Come on, there's definite partridges.
Yeah, no,
for that guy.
Bye, Partridge.